Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Welcome back from lunch, and I hope that I will be able to do this presentation short and sweet to keep you from falling asleep. Because history really can get really boring and really long-winded. It all depends how far back I start. But before we start, I thought that perhaps I'll do a brief introduction of my background so that you understand the perspective that I've come into with regards to issues that we talked about today. Okay. I am an academic, not like maybe Brother Zahid and others in the panel who are actually from the corporate world. So as Prof. Alfa mentioned, sometimes you take the knowledge blindly at first, and throughout my studies I learned about the transmission mechanism of money, how money flows through the banking financial system, and the fact that as the financial sign of development is a growth of financial assets as well as real assets. So I never questioned all those sort of things. Until I came about to do my PhD, and the standard PhD, I know quite a number of your PhD students, standard PhD in finance, let's look at data and see what we want to do, what you can do with the latest econometric models and so on and so forth. So while doing that, I looked at all this data and I found that's really not very interesting, but what perhaps made it interesting for me is to see where is all this thing coming from? Okay, and this morning, I think we had a nice presentation. Everybody set the stage already as to, what is the state that we are in right now. And that was my question when I was doing my study. My question is, how did we get to the place we are today? Okay, and I think, people always think, history is past, what more can you do? I find that throughout history, people repeat the same mistakes. You somehow don't learn from history, and you think whatever situation, as Prof. Alfa mentioned, your perception, your conditioning to your situation, as if that situation or the system has always been like that, and there's very little that you can do to affect it. Okay, so what I want to show today is that the system that we are in right now is actually not very old. Is pretty new, and there are alternative systems that we have gone through. Okay, and my presentation is not to say we have to go back, but at least perhaps looking at what we have gone through will give you some idea of what is possible. What was done before is not the same as what we have today. There was a progress to how we got to where we were today. It's a system of conditioning, of accepting, of unquestioning, and things like that. And here we are today. And if you try to solve your problem at this point in time without understanding how you got here, you might actually tackle the wrong issue. And you waste so much time working on something because you think that is the source of the problem, when in fact it's actually something else. So you are actually medicating a different patient than, changing the hospital structure for whatever is the reason. Okay, so that's my intention this afternoon. My slide is actually not wordy at all for a historical review, and I'll try and make it brief and perhaps give more opportunities for question and answers. Okay, now I have to actually clarify. Although I'm the head of the finance department at University of Malaya, the views I express here are of my own. Alright, so this question or this issue was already raised from the beginning. What is money? And as Brother Zahid showed us this morning, he took out his wallet, only 20 ringgit, was it 10 ringgit? He was flashing around. Should have done 50. We used to have much bigger notes.
I don't have 50.
You don't have 50.
Yes.
So what is money? And he showed the notes that he took out from his wallet. And that's basically one representation of money. I'll just take out everything here. Okay? And you've heard about cowrie shells. If you've learned a little bit of monetary, different forms of money. Okay, you have your gold dinar and silver dirham. Some students also think debit credit cards are, debit cards are money. Credit cards are not, obviously. Cash, okay, is a form of money. And then you have all these other new form of money such as Bitcoin, and people are even talking about blockchain technology as big forms of money. So really, I start the question, what is money? Okay, so the first thing I ask my students, who are my students sitting there, non-Islamic at all, one is from China, because I think, this whole question is universal. What is money? So I ask the student, what is money? Money is this, it goes to pay this and whatnot. Okay, how do you actually make money? You have to work for money, right? So you put in an effort to actually earn money. So then you ask the question, what about the people who produce money? How much effort did they put in to produce that money? Okay? And if you work and you're paid money that don't cost anything to produce, okay, what does that tell you? Actually getting your effort for very little. I mean, you might think they pay you 3,000, 3,000, but does it cost them 3,000 to produce that? It doesn't cost them that. It costs them even much less than that. Okay, and I forgot which professor just now mentioned about seniorage. Seniorage is this technical term where, the value of the money, the cost of producing the money is much lower than the value of it. Okay, so they're getting your effort and paying something that it's not worth anything. And that's the situation we are at this point in time. But is that always the case? So if you go back and then, you learn about Islamic history, the good days of gold dinar, dirham. Actually, dinar and dirham is not a creation of the Islamic empires or Islamic civilization. It has always been existed before. Okay, and I look at why gold is more enduring compared to silver and all those sort of things. Okay, so the question that we want to talk about here is why has money? Okay, and Prof. Kamil mentioned money is a representation of something. That's fine, it's a representation of something, but does it need to have intrinsic value? That means, does it cost something to produce in order to justify paying you for your effort? Okay, so if you think about that, you'll be able to sort of like gauge whether your effort is worth being paid in people or being paid in something else. Okay? And I'm not saying that one goal is better, but there are pros and cons to all this system, because otherwise the goal system would endure. Okay? There are, of course, weaknesses even in that system, right? Okay, so Prof. Nazari just now brought us all around the world. He brought us to the US, to Europe, to Japan, then to our neighbor Singapore, then came back to us. I do not want to pretend to know about what happens everywhere in history around the world. You can read that. There are material on the internet, you can read books and whatnot. It gets all convoluted and sometimes confusing. But what is clear is that the system that Prof. Nazari keeps talking about, okay, is universal. It's very difficult for one area to have a system that's different from somewhere else. It usually doesn't last. Okay, and in a country like Malaysia, we are a small, open economy. So, like it or not, any changes you want to institute here, if it is just us doing that, the chances of it surviving will be very, very, dismal as well. Okay, so the aim is to actually change. In order to get something to be enduring, you have to change the system at a global level. And it will never happen. Okay, forget about it. Okay, so what I want to talk as well is about over time how systemic change happens. And usually the picture is not very pretty because the incentives for change doesn't come naturally. Okay, so let's just go back to Malaysia, because I think we are in Malaysia. Half the rooms perhaps Malaysian, half the rooms not. But whatever we talk about here, I think is applicable in other parts of the world. It's more or less the same. The only difference is in the timing of when things happen. But most countries more or less go through similar processes. So in Malaysia, actually we have never had circulating gold in Malaysia, ever. Okay? Maybe people say traders bring in and whatnot, but if they do, it's only for big trades, it doesn't circulate in Malaysia. Why? Because gold is expensive. In fact, gold is not the currency for the region, ever. Well, maybe India towards the end during colonial period because Britain was on gold. But China-India trade is silver. Okay? Because either it's cheaper, it's more abundant here. Gold is more a Western thing, more towards that side of the world. Okay, and I'm not saying it's more Islamic or non-Islamic, it's just used because it's the most convenient means of payment. Okay, but in Malaysia, we have the silver, alright? So our most early native coin, of course you can go way back before that, but you know, my sejarah book starts from Melaka. So Melaka, our native metal is tin. So they maintain coins and whatnot. But it doesn't mean that's the only money available. Because we are a small open economy, we accept any other currency that passes through our trading ports. Okay? And the majority of the currency is silver. One of the professors mentioned just now. Is it Brother Zahid or Prof. Kamal? Yeah. Okay? So silver is the circulating currency. Okay? So if you want to think about, oh, now we want to have gold and whatnot, nothing wrong with that, but you need to actually look at why was it not gold then? Gold was prevalent everywhere, but gold is not prevalent in this region. There must be a reason, and whether those reasons still exist today make things more doable or not. Okay, so silver dollars. I put the silver dollars because the silver coins are called dollars, and they are minted by different countries. Okay, so the most common in this region is the Mexican dollar or the Spanish dollar lah, because they are all same colonial countries. So silver dollars, at least in Malaysia itself, the most common Mexican dollar and Japanese silver yen during that time. That was the main bulk of circulating currency during the trading period. Okay. There are other currency, you have the Bolivian, Peruvian, and also other, but they're all silver at that time. The circulating currency. I'm not saying that there is no gold at that time. It could be, but perhaps it's for bigger transaction, and most of the time perhaps it was held rather than being used as a means of payment. Okay. Alright. Now, then we had the colonial power come in place. Now, this actually obviously affected your system, because you start adopting system that they impose on you rather than it being natural progression. Okay, and the starting point was because, as Prof. Nazari mentioned, East India Company was the first one to come. Okay, and when they came, they brought paper notes based on the rupee. And there's this rule that was actually not mentioned earlier among any of the presenters, is what actually makes something acceptable as money is a system where the government records that particular money legal tender. That legality that Prof. Arfak mentioned. And the word is legal tender. Okay? Now, legal tender has several meanings. It means that that form of money is accepted, not just for transaction. Okay, for transaction, if you barter, I bagi you 1 chicken, you give me 2 packs of 1 pack of rice, tak apa juga. First transaction, right? But legal tender refers also to the ability of that form of money to pay off debt. So if you borrow from somebody, you nak bagi the chicken, he doesn't want chicken, cannot lah, right? So the condition for legal payment is that money can be used to, not just for transaction, payment of debt and payment of tax. Okay, if it's not accepted in any of this, that money falls short in terms of its usability within the economy. Okay, if you have one mode of payment, one mode of money that is only accepted for payment, but then borrow, you have to pay in something else. You pay taxes, you have to pay something else. So that money doesn't satisfy all the functions. So the money that is accorded legal tender status is the one that will protect. Okay. So during this period, at that time, the British colonial power didn't come through the whole of Malaysia. They only came to the Strait Settlement. Right? They started in Penang, then they went to Singapore, and then went to Malacca. So that was the time. And they brought along their Indian rupee. And Indian rupee was paper notes at that time. They didn't really bring coins. But the Indian rupee was based on gold by this period. What happens is that the people in Malaya at that time didn't like this Indian rupee. The traders, basically. Okay, when we talk about money in history, the ones that actually matter is the monetized economy. It's the economy that works on money. That's that part of the economy that don't work on money, either through barter or some other form of exchange. But the monetized economy is normally the trading economy, right? But however, this experiment in Indian rupee was not successful. British were not able to force this on us at that time. Failed. How many years? 1926, 1967. About what? 40 years? 40 years. This money never took hold. Because the Malayan people and traders at that time really loved the silver dollar. And silver dollar was not minted by the British. They didn't like it. Because they had no control over the money supply. Okay? So, why? They gave the rupee legal tender status. Those silver coins had no legal tender status, but it was still accepted. And they were not happy because, as authority, you have no control over the money supply. So they realized, okay, this doesn't work, we have to do something else. Okay? Then they said, okay, it's silver coins that they like, but let's move on instead of minting coins, which is expensive. To mint silver coins, the value of the silver to the value that's minted on it is more or less similar. If you actually have a coin and you put a value on the coin that is higher than the value of the metal, what will happen? The coin either trades at a discount sometimes, unless you say, okay lah, I can accept. The coin writes on it 1, but it's actually worth only 0.8 or something like that. But most of the time, it will trade at discount. So most issuers of coins must match the value that they write there. Now what happens is, if they write a value there 1, and sometime over time, price of metal fluctuates, right? Okay? So if the price of the metal go higher than the value written on there, what will happen is that it will be more valuable for you to melt the metal rather than keep this coin. Okay? So having a metal coin with intrinsic value is actually not easy to maintain. You must make sure the value that you write on the coin matches the value of the metal that is in the coin. Okay? Anything else is what Ustaz Nodorus will talk later. It's a form of fiat. That means the intrinsic value is less than the value that's printed on the money. But anyway, okay, so go back to this. Indian rupee experience didn't work out, so what the colonial powers and the banks at that time actually did, you need the banks to do all this. No way a government can actually circulate money without the financial system. At that time, it's still fledgling. Mana ada banks all around here? Tak ada. But you still can do it with very few banks. There are only like a handful of banks, not even 10 banks at that time. Okay? So what they issued are bank notes. Bank notes supposed to be backed by coins. But as you know, fractional reserve banking to some extent, you can keep less reserve compared to that. Bank note is like what the word Prawava passed around. Promissory notes. Okay? I promise to pay you, but in my bank, actually in my account, in my vault, I don't have that amount of cash because I issue more promissory notes than I have backing. Okay? How are they allowed to do this? At that time, there's no central bank. Okay? No central bank. And the power to issue bank notes, because not every bank can actually issue bank notes, and not every bank, actually banks don't even mint the coins. Yeah, they don't want to go to that business, it's not profitable. Okay, issue bank notes is more profitable because it costs less to issue the paper. Okay, so they got license to issue the bank notes from the authority, the British authority, and only the British banks can issue. The non-British bank, the Chinese bank, the Japanese bank, the Dutch banks cannot sue. Okay? And this privilege is actually very valuable to banks. They make a lot of money, apart from expropriating real wealth. They make money through this as well. Okay, so you can see the slow condition. You have coins, traders all love coins, and then you start introducing paper, and then they didn't like this paper. Then they say, okay, let's not move to paper money. You go promissory notes, which are called banknotes. Banknotes were accepted because trade, blah blah blah, and so on. They already know what it is today. You don't even question whether the banknote has backing. During this time, there is backing. But the backing is not like what we have today. I think what is backing today? You can't even put a percentage. I wouldn't even say it's 3% backing. There is no hard and fast rule. But at least at that time, there's some rule. Backing must be, I think, about 2/3, between 2/3 to 30%, 2/3 to 1/3. You must have some form of backing. But then people never redeem anyway. In fact, banknotes of the biggest bank at that time, I found, Chartered Bank, or what we know as Stanchart, and Hong Kong Bank, which is HSBC, they had these banknotes in their financial ledgers until the 1980s. So it's there in their ledger, although it's no longer in circulation for years. In 1908, they don't have any license to issue, but it still remains on their ledger, although it doesn't exist. As Prof. Alpha said, money exists on ledger, it doesn't exist even in paper form. Okay, so the government saw profitable for banks to do this. Why not we get into the business of issuing money? Okay, so then what we had at the beginning of that is that they set up a system, Malaysia system at that time called currency board. Now we had the currency board system from 1899 until 1967. We actually had this system longer than the system we have today. And that's in Malaysia. Okay? So the the central bank system we have today is a new system. The one that we think always exists and must have existed forever. No. Okay? We had a system, currency board that existed even longer. And in fact, it lasted in Malaysia until 1967. When did we have green card? Our independence was what? So it lasted 10 years after Merdeka, still allowed this colonial institution to be there. Central bank was set up in 1959. Still, central bank never issued currency until 1967. Now, what was the reason it broke down in 1967? Because Singapore left. It's political. Whenever there's a change is normally political. That system worked really well. Nothing wrong with the system. The change was political. Singapore separated, wanted to do something else. Malaysia wanted to do something else. In fact, until today, Singapore and Brunei have currency that is at par and interchangeable with each other, which we had under that system. So our currency board system, 3-country system. Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei. When Singapore left, okay, actually Singapore didn't live very long. Singapore was only part of Malaysia for 2 years. People always think Singapore is part of Malaysia forever. Singapore was actually under British rule since 1856. And they got independence 1960. They joined Malaysia 1963 and left 1965. So what? They only part of Malaysia for 2 years. Okay lah, you can track the whole Johor or something that you push the line now, right? But Singapore left, and the whole system broke down. But Singapore and Brunei still continued this kind of system in place. Okay, now what is a currency board? A currency board works like the promissory note, but currency board is owned by the government. Okay, so it is supposed to keep 100% backing for every note they issue. Okay, the only thing, it doesn't say what is that backing in the form of. Does it have to be coins? Does it have to be gold bars? Does it have to be what? Okay, and the structure that was in operation is that they didn't really hold coins. They held financial papers. Investment lah. Okay, but the investment cannot be in your own country because you want to protect the value of your currency, right? So your currency at that time, because we are under British rule, we are back to sterling. sterling is actually on gold standard. Okay, so that shift from that banknote, and when they set up the currency board, they moved the currency from silver to gold. Okay, and this was done without much disruption. And the reason is because people were used to using banknotes. If they had circulating silver, and then they say suddenly silver cannot use, demonetized, use all these gold coins, don't you think the whole country or people will start, I don't want this money, I don't want this money, it's too big or whatever, right? So the change was done gradually. They didn't give you coins at all. They did it through paper, so you didn't even realize there's a change. Okay? And people accepted, no need to even have coins. There's no coins circulating in that particular, no gold coins circulating. They had some silver coins still during that time, but it didn't last very long because it's expensive to have silver coin. Paper dominated. Even 25 cents was paper. That's how 25 cents besar kot. Is it big?
Yeah.
No. Okay. So even small change was on paper. Okay. And then we had the Japanese come. Okay. Now before that, how did the British make the currency board notes actually acceptable? They gave it legal tender status and said anything else is not legal tender. So if you still like your silver coins, you can use silver coins, but you cannot pay your debt in silver coins, you cannot pay your tax in silver coins. So like it or not, over time people accept, take out that money. Because the silver coins only can be used for transaction, very limited usage. Then the Japanese came. And they printed their own paper money, of course. They want to make use of it. They gave their paper money, what we call here colloquially banana currency. They gave it legal tender status. Okay? So what happened? Suddenly all the British currency board notes disappeared. The Japanese collected all the notes. No, actually, the notes were still there. But what happens is, as I told my student, Grasham's law, right? Whenever you have bad money in place, the good money gets hoarded. So the British currency board money is still there. There's a lot of money sloshing around, but people were hoarding it. And because the Japanese notes were made legal tender, that's the term that's actually important, legal tender. So you used to transact with Japanese notes. And then, Japanese keep printing, suddenly they don't have any value, you can step on it so you don't care. Nobody will pick it up in the kampong, in the mud, nobody picks up. Okay? And then when the Japanese lost and went home, or died, or you know what, okay, suddenly all these hoarded British notes came back. They grew it. It didn't disappear from circulation, it's there, people hoard. Okay? So that's one rule that always has to be kept in mind, in that whenever you introduce good money, you must make sure that there's no bad money around, because the worst money will be the one circulating. The good one will be hoarded. So you keep. That's valuable. Why should you actually circulate and give people something that's valuable? In order to make it circulating, it is not valuable. Not as valuable as something else. Okay? So, when the Japanese left, what happened is that I found a lot of letters of people who have paid their loan during the Japanese period in the Japanese currency. When the Japanese left, all their creditors came back and said, pay debt. All these letters saying that I already paid my debt last time, they're still claiming from me because now this money not legal tender. Okay? So legal tender is important because whether you settle your loan or not, doesn't mean you pay, you will settle the loan. Especially if they claim later, you pay in not legal tender. So it does not cancel. So there are all those issues. So the Japanese left and the British came back, didn't bring all joy and happiness because all this debt that was being paid before is now being claimed again, and it created a lot of hardship, and money supply obviously shrunk because now nobody wants to use the Japanese dollar, and you had deflation, a lot of suffering actually post-war, so it's not actually very happy. Okay, and then the British money continued circulating and people were happy using it. And then we had Merdeka, and then we had our central bank. But for 10 years after Merdeka, our central bank never took on its main function, which is to issue currency. Ever. Okay? Money is a different thing. We already talked about what it means for something to be money, but this is just currency. Central bank only issued currency when that system broke down upon separation of Singapore from 1967 onwards. Okay. Now, the base of all the money in circulation during this time has changed. Of course, at that time, tin, I don't know, tin is just a trading currency from silver to gold to fiat. By the time central bank is already fiat. Okay? How did all that change come in place, and how does this affect our system in terms of the amount of money in circulation? Okay? So I mentioned this now already. Okay, definition of money. So sometimes when you read, people say, oh, this can be used for money because you can use this to transact and pay off goods. That only covers one aspect. Okay? Repayment of debt and payment of taxation. If you have all three and the government gives you legal tender status, does not even have intrinsic value. Don't need that. Okay? Okay, of course it has to function as all that. That one from our talking area lah. So I'm not going to touch on that. Okay? Basically, unit of account means you keep your accounts in it. Medium of exchange, you exchange goods and services for that money, etc. And store of value, it must be able to hold its value. It does not need to have value, but it must be able to hold value. Otherwise, you issue money like the Japanese money lah. You issue and then doesn't hold value. It actually will not work as well. Okay, now this is the part of money that is being questioned right now. Okay, the money we understand is the one that comes out from your pocket, your notes. Very few people look at coins even. Okay, notes, and then now other means of transaction, your debit card, other form of transaction. Notes and coins, as I think Brother Zahid mentioned, only makes 3% currently. Makes 3% or less than 3% of what you call money. Okay, so if you decide you want to change your notes and coins instead of paper fiat into something with intrinsic value, if you're changing just that, you're only changing 3% of money. What about the 97%? Okay, so perhaps my question is, you can solve some problem with the 3%, but if you don't handle the 97%, that problem will not go away. So perhaps more effort should be looking at the problem created by the 97% of money. And the other 97% falls under the category of money you call bank-related money. Okay, in financial jargon you call this M1, M2, M3, and whatever. Alright, so these are also money. Okay, however, notes and coins have legal tender. M1, M2, M3, not legal tender. That means, if you pay someone, you take a loan, and you pay someone through transfer of your account to the other account, okay, your loan will only be paid once the money is transferred. Not at the point of you keying in, you say you want to make transfer, right? Sometimes it takes 2 days. Okay? Because the other categories of money is not legal tender. Although it is used as money, but it will only clear off debt or pay off your tax once it is reached the other side of the account. And it can take about 2 days. Okay? Or not reach at all if something happens. Okay? Okay, so let's look at how the development of the system affect the amount of money that is created over time. Actually, when I wrote this, the whole premise is to look at financial development. I was going to say, look, all this systemic change is good because see money grow. But over time, as I was reading it, actually, if money grows in this way, it becomes very unsustainable. Okay? But let's look at the early days. Okay? Now, this data is very difficult to get because it's not there in Bayangkara. You actually have to go through the individual banks at that time. There are all those commercial banks that issue the paper promissory notes as well as circulating coins in the country. So 1867 is the start of actual British control of the financial system in Malaysia. Okay? Because through the banking system. Okay? They don't print money yet at that time, but the banks were allowed to issue promissory notes. And if you look at the diagram, M0, which you call base money, or sometimes finance called high power money, right? The difference between M0 and M2, which is a bank created money. M1 pun bank created money, but let's look at M2 because that's quite common to use savings account as money as well. If you look at the distance between M0 and M2, that shows you the amount of money created by banks. Okay, and during that period, the difference between that seems quite stable. That means the amount of notes and coins, that means during this period, notes and coins are backed by silver coins and silver bullion. Okay, so there is backing for M0. But M1 and M2 has no backing because that is bank created money. But if you look at the difference, it's pretty constant, and towards the end there, it's almost the same, which means that money is mainly the notes or the silver coins in circulation. So banks didn't play that much of a role at this time because that fractional lending practice is not that major. Why? They are lending, okay, but there's no regulator in place. Okay, there's the government there, but the government at that time is not going to actually provide insurance or bail out any banks, okay, that suffer through exposure to bad loans and things like that. There's no regulator. So if you're a bank and you want to practice fractional lending, fractional reserve lending, you have to make sure that you do have enough reserve so that if anything happens, your borrower cannot pay or whatever, you still have enough reserve. Okay? And that meant during that period, banks were keeping about 60% reserve because there's no function we call nowadays lender of last resort. No guarantee from the government. If anything bad, I will save you. So they hold 60% reserve. If that's the case, money creation is more limited. Okay? Which should then tell you, once you have someone come in and say, I will back you up, banks are much happier to lend even more and even less reserves. Okay? And you think that once a regulator is in place, that should regulate, actually it makes it a lot easier for the banking system to create this sort of debt, not make it more difficult. They come in, you say, okay, regulator come in, oversight, blah, blah, actually it makes it easier, not harder. Okay? Because without regulator, the banks have to, the banks have to keep their own high reserves. Okay, if you move on, just now you're on silver, now we go on gold. But I don't say gold standard because we don't have circulating gold, that's why I call it gold exchange. Because our money here can be exchanged for sterling, and sterling is the one that can be exchanged for gold. And you see there, the blue one is the coin, and the green one is the bank money. Not that far away. Banks were not creating money. When did banks start creating money? When we have a regulator. Oh, don't quote me. Nothing wrong with regulators. Okay? They do actually provide a useful function in maintaining the system so that it operates well, don't do funny business. But that function of providing that lender of last resort guarantee for banks allowed credit creation, and you can see that from the growth in money supply. And at that time when I was writing this is a good thing actually. This is read as good. So maybe there should be some sort of paradigm shift, but not very drastic, but slow shift. Okay. Alright, so then I move on. Okay. If you want to look at the breakdown, this is the 3% Brother Zahid mentioned. I don't even bother to draw it until now. That's your 3%. And the 97% in fact is created through that of bank money. Okay. Bank money, and you can see how fast it grew. In the early years, a bit slow, and then somewhere in the 80s, it shot up like that. If you really want to know what it is, you have to look at what is going on with the regulator, with the financial system at that time that made credit creation so much easier. Okay, so I have to move on. If you have time, I think Brother Justin will post this slide online. Watch the video, because I know you see YouTube video, I know I don't have time. Okay, but YouTube videos are everywhere. The problem is that you don't know which YouTube video is actually good and telling you the right thing. And there are so many around. And I find that the American ones don't really reflect what goes on here. So I found a British one. And the first one will recap what was told in the morning about how banks create money through fractional reserve and whatnot. But you find, and I think Dato' Manap Stock might actually touch that, in this current period, you actually don't even need to have a reserve ratio. Before you're saying that, okay, they have to keep 2% or 3% and then the rest they can lend out, or Brother Zahir's example is not 10%. You lend out until, actually you don't need even that right now. If I have a banking license from Bank Negara, I can set up with no deposits. I can just borrow the money. As a bank, I borrow money, and that borrowed money I can create loans, and the loans will then start. So I don't even need to have deposits to even start. That is the reality today. Okay? And the next video that you might, if you have time to actually watch, is the question, if that's the case, how much money can banks create? Is there a limit how much you can create? Okay? So you can actually watch that. And if there's no limit, what is the constraint? Is it up to banks to decide how much money they want to create? Or can the government, or can certain situation actually affect this? And if it is really the bank's decision how much money it can create, can you imagine what sort of responsibility or privilege we have given to the banking system? Okay? So what's on in our time? So we go to next, and that was actually mentioned by some, because here my presentation is not to really offer solution, to actually look at how we got to where we are today, and perhaps from there you can think of solution, because there are multiple pronged solutions that some of the earlier presenters have mentioned. Okay, but history has shown that whenever systems change, it actually is sometimes bloody. It's not pretty, because you reach a breaking point, then you change. Because there's no incentive before. There's no incentive to change. Even if you tell them right now, you should change because this other system is better, is more equitable, there's no incentive because the current system is so profitable. It needs to get to a point when it just breaks down. And actually, I don't think we want to wait until it breaks down. Okay? So these are some of the instability in the system. You can see today, Prof. Nazari has mentioned all that already. And in the long run, history shows you that financial system collapses when the political power underlying it fails. So it sounds as if a revolution. Don't quote me on that as well. Okay? But you don't want to get to that point before any change. Because if you say you want to learn something from history, history is showing you systems change usually through this action. If you can learn from history, hopefully you can change before you get to that point. But if you don't learn from it, then you get to this point, then only system will change. Okay? So, you wait, you work something out. Or in finance or economics, you say equilibrium, the things will adjust by itself. Somehow there's a magic hand. If you want to do something, do what? This is actually the forum going ahead as well. Do what? Some suggestions are in places now, but you need to know how do you know whether this will work or not? How do you actually test? Okay, finance, you say you sandbox the particular new thing that you want to try. You have a small group, try, see whether it works there. Do what? There's another video, perhaps some other suggestion. If you have time, you will watch that. Okay, but I just want to end with this. Even in the US, the American Constitution is written out that the power to create money only lies with the government, not with banks. In fact, even in Malaysia, the power to create in Malaysia, they write currency, not money. Power to create currency lies with the central bank. And in the US, it's written in their constitution to begin with. Okay, I quote there Ben Franklin because he's one of the founding fathers. He wrote that even in the US. They wrote power to create money, and at that time it was coins, lies with Congress. Not with the banking system, but over time they had some reforms and they gets challenged in court, and the court then allows the other bank-created money to be accepted as money as well. But what Ben Franklin has said, he said, money has never made men happy. Nor will it ever. And what year was he talking about this? 1700 something, right? I don't know whether he was religious. I read somewhere that his upbringing is religious, but he's not a practicing person, although maybe ethically he agrees to some of the principle. So he said, money has never made man happy, nor will it ever. There's nothing in its nature to produce happiness. So perhaps when we think about what makes things happy, you're not looking at the right place, if money is what you're looking at. So it says that more of it the one has, the more one wants of it. So that's a principle that it says. And the irony is that he's not an advocate of money or money creation, but they put him on the largest denomination American note. During his time, he cannot even have those notes, but they put him on the largest American bill. Then, okay? But the future is yours, and make that change.